And don't forget to subscribe to Bagoday Crochet. You can subscribe by clicking this red button right here. And don't forget to click this little bell right there next to it. That way you'll always be notified whenever Bagoday puts on a new video. Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet a baby blanket here. This is what it looks like here up close. It's got bobbles and post stitches. It's not really that hard as long as you're familiar with making bobbles and, you know, the post stitches. I probably consider it intermediate pattern, but if you know how to do those, then sure you can do it. Now it measures approximately 36 by 42 inches. Now I was going to put a white border on it, but I decided not to at the end. I just kind of like the clean green straight color, but you're more than welcome to add a border or something to it at the end. But let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I am using Lion Brand Feels Like Butter yarn, and this is the bonus bundle. It's the bigger skeins that I've used. They're 9.7 ounces, 275 grams, where there's 590 yards per skein. It is a medium weight number 4, and it is a 100% polyester yarn. It's very soft. It's a pretty nice yarn. The color that I used is called Mint. Now you don't have to use this yarn. Any medium 4-weight yarn will work. Now I used almost all of my 3 skeins. I don't have much left. So there's 590 yards per skein. So you're gonna, if you don't use this yarn, you're gonna need, let's just say, probably about 1,700 to 1,750 yards to finish this project of any medium 4-weight yarn. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Now I'm going to show you on a smaller scale because I got my big piece done. But what you want to do is you want to start off with a chain of 112 stitches. Okay, now once you get your chain of 112, you want to do a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. Now remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So the second one, you put a single crochet in. And now all you want to do for row 1 here is work 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like this. So 1 single in every stitch until you get to the end of the row. All right, once you make it to the end of row 1, you should have a total of 111 stitches. Now rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the repeat rows for the whole blanket. So it is a 4-row repeat. So we're going to start row 2 by chaining 1 and turning our work. Now we want to put a double crochet right there in that very first stitch. And then I'm going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until I get to the end of row 2. Just like that. 1 double every stitch all the way to the end of the row. Alright, once you make it to the end of row 2, you still should have 111 stitches. Okay, for row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to put a double crochet into the very first stitch. And now we will start our repeat for row 3. We're going to start off by putting a back post double crochet into the next stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go around the stitch from the back side like that around the post. And then we'll go ahead and do a double crochet as like normal. And then we'll put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So right in the top of the next stitch, you just do a regular double crochet. And in the top of the next one, regular double crochet. And then we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to put a back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. So go ahead and yarn over, go around from the back side around the post. That way the post is on the back of your hook like that. And then go ahead and do your double crochet like normal. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1, go to the next one, and there's 2. Now we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to do a back post double crochet into the next stitch around the post of it. And then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to repeat that pattern all the way until we get to the last 2 stitches of our row. Back post double crochet and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. Back post double and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2, all the way until you get to your last 2 stitches. Alright, I've reached my last 2 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and do a back post double crochet around the next stitch. And then I'm going to end by putting a double crochet into the top of the last stitch. And that'll end row 3, and you still should have 111 stitches. Row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And when you turn, you'll be able to see your post stitches that you just made. Now, row 4 is very similar to row 3, except for we're going to be doing front post stitches instead of back post. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a double crochet into this very first stitch. And now we will start the repeat of row 4 by putting a front post double crochet around the next stitch. So yarn over and go around the post of the next stitch just like that to where it's on the front of your hook this time. And then go ahead and do your double crochet. And then I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to repeat that. So now we're going to do a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. So all we're doing, we're kind of just keeping our posts lined up. And then we're going to put a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Now we're going to repeat it again. Front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. And then we're going to put a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And that's what we're going to repeat now for row 4. We're going to put front post double crochet and then 1 double crochet into the next 2. Front post double crochet and 1 double into the next 2, and you can see it keeps your post stitches lined up. And we're going to do that, repeat that until we get to our last 2 stitches of the row. Alright, I've made it to my last 2 stitches, so I'm going to go ahead and put a front post double crochet into the next. And I'm going to end by putting a 1 double crochet into the top of the last stitch. That'll end row 4, and you still should have 111 stitches. Row 5 is the bobble stitch row, so we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to start by putting a single crochet into the very first stitch. And then we're going to do a bobble into the next. Now this is how we're going to do a bobble. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, and draw up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. Now we want to do that 5 times total. So that would be number 1. We're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 2 times. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 3 times. Again, yarn over, go in the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 4 times. One more time, we're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. You should have 6 loops that remain on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 6 loops, give it a nice tug, and single crochet directly into the next stitch. Now you work the bobbles on the back side of your work, so when you turn it over, they are on the front, the same side as your post stitches. So we're going to kind of repeat that now all the way to the end of the row. So we're going to do a bobble into the next stitch. So again, yarn over, go into the next stitch and draw up a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 2 loops on your hook. You want to do that 5 times. So that would be number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops that remain. Yarn over, go through all 6, give it a tug, and single crochet into the next stitch. And then we repeat it again. Bobble into the next stitch. Six loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 6, give it a tug, and single into the next. So that's what we're going to repeat now for row 5. Bobble, single, bobble, single, bobble, single, all the way until you get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm coming to the end of row 5. I just did a bobble stitch and I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into that last stitch. And now you still should have 111 stitches. That's counting every bobble and every single crochet. And now it's just a repeat of rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn to the front side of our work. And now we are just going to, this is where we just put 1 double crochet in every stitch. So we're going to go ahead and put double crochet into that very first stitch. And it's just 1 double crochet in every stitch across. We're just repeating what we did for row 2. So 1 double in the top of every bobble and in every single crochet that's between the bobbles. So 1 double in every stitch until you get to the end of the row. So we're repeating rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll always have 111 stitches at the end of every single row. And you want to do this until you get your blanket the length that you want it to be. Now, if you want to follow me, you want to do this until you get a total of 88 rows. And that is counting that very first row of single crochet. So 88, counting that one. Like right now we're on row 6. So continue repeating 2 through 5 until you get a total of 88 rows. Okay, now once you get your 88 rows done, now remember you can do more if you want. That's completely up to you. But I stopped at 88. And now don't tie off. What I'm going to do now is go around the whole piece with single crochet to clean up all the edges. It's going to be kind of hard really to tell where your single crochets need to go here. And that's okay. You just need to do your best to kind of evenly space out your single crochets. So, because the amount that you have may not be the same amount as me, and when you get back to the beginning, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be, as long as you do your best to evenly space them out. So I'm going to go ahead and start by chaining 1. So what I usually do is I try to put 2 single crochets to wherever there's a double crochet. So right here there's a double, so I'm just going to go right in that space, and I'm going to put 2 single crochets. And then right here is a double, so I'm going to put 2 double crochets. I'll put 1 in that little spot and 1 in that spot. And then right here is a double, so I'm going to put 2 single crochets there. And then right here is a single crochet here on the end from this bobble stitch row, so I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in that spot. See, it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do your best you can. So now I'm back to where there is a double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and work 2 single crochets around that double. And then this is a double crochet right here. So I'm going to work 2 into that. I like to go into the top part of it. And then kind of the bottom part of the double. And then you got this double here, so I'm going to put 1 single crochet there and 1 single crochet there, like that. And then right here we are where there's a single crochet on the end, so just going to put 1 single crochet there. And I'm going to do this all the way down until I get to my first corner. So 2 single crochets here on the side of this double. So there's 1, 2, 2 right here into this double. So I kind of go right here, right here, 2 into this double. And then on this bobble row, there's a single crochet right there. Go right into that. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm just going to do my best to evenly space out my stitches. Remember, you may not have the same count as I do at the end, and that's fine. Your count doesn't really matter. Just as long as you do your best to kind of clean up the edges and space them out as evenly as possible. So I'm going to go all the way down this first side, and I'll meet back up with you right here at this very first corner, and then we'll round that. All right, I've made it down here to the corner, and you can see I did 2 single crochets in that last double. Now there's 1 stitch here that's from the very first row of single crochet. Go ahead and put 1 single crochet in that, and then we got to work this row at the top. Now this very first stitch here, I'm going to put 3 single crochets in it just to kind of help the corner lay down a little bit flatter. Now remember, yours doesn't have to be, you know, if you don't get the same amount of stitches, please don't worry about it. And now I'm just going to continue by working 1 single crochet across. You should be able to see these stitches a little better here on the bottom of the blanket. But 1 single crochet in every stitch across until I get to my next corner. So all we're doing now is just cleaning up these edges. Just trying to make them a little bit more presentable. Like that. See that? Makes it look a lot cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working across the bottom here. 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I'll meet back up with you when we get right over here to this corner. Alright, I've made it across here to my next corner, and I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put 3 single crochets here in my last corner, and that just helps round that out a little bit, helps the corners lay flat. And now we're going to be working up the long side again, and that's where it's really hard to see your stitches. So you just kind of do your best to put like 2 single crochets to every double crochet. You know, it's hard to see, but just do the best you can. That's all you can do. Oh yeah, this side leaves them a little bit harder to see than the other one. And then when you get up to the bobble stitch row, there'll be one single crochet there that you need to go into. Yeah, that's this side's even more difficult than the other one. But we'll get it together. Just kind of spacing them out, one stitch at a time. I'm trying to hide that tail as I go also. So just like that. So just continue working up the long side, evenly spacing out your stitches the best you can until you get right up here to the next corner. And I'll meet you right up there. Alrighty, I made it up to my next corner. And again, I'm going to put 3 single crochets right up here in this first corner stitch to go along the top of my blanket. So 3 singles. And now I'm going to work across the top, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now you should be able to see your stitches pretty well now, since we're working on the top of the blanket. Yeah, you'll be able to see those stitches. So I'm just going to continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my starting point. So this is the last side that we have to clean up here with these single crochets. Okay, I have made it back to my starting point. What I'm going to do is put 3 single crochets into my very last stitch, and that will help round this very last corner out. And then what I'm going to do is end by slip stitching into my first single crochet over here on this side. So not the chain 1, which is kind of right here, but the very first single crochet. You're going to remember, I just want to stress, it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perfect, because when you're dealing with going down the sides of these double crochets, it's extremely hard to see the stitches, and I know that. So now what I'm going to do is clip this yarn off real quick, and I'm going to hide any remaining tails. Now I'm not even going to count the number of stitches I have all the way around, because it doesn't matter how many stitches you have at this point, okay? So because yours might be different than mine, and that's okay. So just go ahead and tie that off and hide that tail. All right, now once you get that all your tails hidden, I was going to put a white border around mine, but I actually think I'm just going to leave it so it looks a little bit more unisex. You know, you can use it for boy or girl. So I think it looks pretty good the way that it is, actually. But if you wanted to put a white border around it, you definitely could. You could get some white and you could go around it in single crochet ruffles or whatever you wanted to do. But I actually changed my mind on the white border. I think it looks pretty good the way it is. So I'm going to leave mine be right now and just let it go. I think I like it the way it is. So that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm sorry that you can't get a very big, I'll put a picture here at the, see a picture at the beginning there you saw, but that's what it looks like. I like it, and it's super soft, and I think leaving the white border off works the best for me. But remember, if you want to put some single crochets around it for just to doll it up in some white or whatever color you want, you by all means can do that. But thanks everybody for watching. I always appreciate your support in my channel. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy it. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. If you look over on the right hand side of the screen right now, you'll see a playlist of all my other baby blankets. In case you're interested, maybe you're on a baby blanket making kick, I got a few there you might enjoy. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.